We don't do a wardrobe change.
What's going on? We're back with the anonymous coverage. I'm Lauren. This is Adrian. We're talking episode 5 today, baby.
Yep, we're talking episode 5, and it's been a banger. It's so far the show has been a wild roller coaster that we've been enjoying the ride for. But seems like they're upping the ante in episode 5, and yeah, no, it's been great.
Absolutely. I mean, they're getting it rolling. Just being able to see where it started and where it's going now. We knew it was going to erupt because obviously people are more comfortable. They're more willing to say what they want to say in the anonymous chat. They're ready just to get the ball rolling.
Oh yeah, the fire is definitely starting to come out. It's like you said, it started off like people are still like learning the game. People are still trying to learn what the meta game is, what the attitude is going to be, what the vibe of the game is going to be. But now it seems like, there's been a couple of eliminations, there's been a couple twists and turns, and now people are starting to take the gloves off, especially in the anonymous room where you don't have to account for anything.
Right. People are not afraid to say what's on their mind. They're not afraid to try and set other people up. They're not afraid to pretend to be someone that they're not. And that's what I really appreciate about this show, because you can do that. This is the opportunity to do it, people. This show right here.
Oh, absolutely. People are ruffling feathers, as it were, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it completely, because like when you push people like that, it's difficult for them to not let it show outside of the room, outside of the anonymous room, and being able to try to read people's reactions because innately, if you're on the block, like you're going to have some fear or whatever, and you're going to have some fear when people bring up your handle in front of you, and being able to, clamp that down is so fascinating to watch. I love it. I want more of it. I mean, let's just dive right into it. Is that cool with you?
Let's go. Let's roll.
Let's dive into it. Okay. So we started this episode with the results from episode 4. Chris and Robbie are the final two available for elimination, or eligible. And lo and behold, we get the news. Unfortunately, our resident poker player, professional Robbie, is eliminated.
Right. I mean, I'm bummed because I really liked Robbie, but the problem is also love Christopher. And this is what we're starting to run into. So many, the whole cast in general was hard to lose anyway. There was no duds on this cast at all. And so that's why as a viewer, you keep watching and you're seeing the gameplay and seeing how they're doing, how they're reacting. And then someone goes home and you're just sitting there saying, but then you're torn because you didn't want to see the other person go. So it's really hard.
Yeah, no, I think every week going forward, I mean, and there's been some people that we've lost in the beginning that have been phenomenal players. But the more we're invested in these people now, because now we're going into episode 5, it's going to be harder and harder to lose people. So there's definitely some people that we're going to have to talk about in the coming weeks that we're going to regret having to do so. But yes, Robbie is eliminated, and it's revealed that our brand new player, Victoria, is the anonymous.
Yes.
Well played.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what we were talking about too. I think a lot of people underestimated what Victoria was going to do, because the fact that you come in, have limited to no time of getting to know all these people and not necessarily knowing people's tendencies, who they talk to, who they don't talk to, and then coming in and winning that tells a lot about you, because you were able to read people very quickly and kind of analyze who could be saying this, who could be saying that.
Yeah, no, she's been able to hide amongst the weeds, and like the show painted her initially, and it was reinforced in episode 4 that she's just Sydney 2.0. And that's what you're told multiple times watching it. And then when you see, you're like, oh, this is more than meets the eye.
Right.
She's a transformer. It's incredible. Like she has all these inner workings in the back of her head that's enabling her to bamboozle her competition. I'm excited to see where she can take it,
Right, me too, especially because no one is going to think that she won the anonymous. So that's not even on the radar for people. They're obviously thinking it's got to be a couple of these people potentially. Can't be Victoria, which sets Victoria up perfectly.
Yes, yeah. People are looking at the the big fish. People are looking at Xavier. People are looking at some people are looking at Nina because they know of her pedigree, or they're suspecting of it at least at this point. People are looking at the more cerebral players in the house and wondering, where like how savvy they are and how they're manipulating the game. They're not taking into account these either more emotional or players that they're deeming not as influential as these other players in the game, and those people are starting to run the show now, and that's so cool.
Yeah, it's great to see how it evolves. And we talked about that too with some of the early threats, it potentially catching up to them. And now we're starting to see that a little bit because normally at the beginning, oh, let's just get through a couple rounds and then we'll fire out.
Yeah, no, they get their feet wet and then it starts to get real. And then you start looking at your competition.
Mm-hmm.
And you're starting to assess them and you're saying, who is a threat to my game? Who is a threat to my $100,000? And that's just, we're watching it play out. We're watching it play out. But yeah, moving forward, Robbie tells everybody that she's a professional poker player. There's a lot of applause.
Yes.
Some shock out there. Yeah, Robbie, you're unfortunately, you tipped your hat a little bit without you knowing it in the first challenge. And that locked you on a lot of people's radar. And it's terrible because I think that you could have done so well had the hand played out differently. To keep going on that analogy.
Right. Here's the problem too. You want to jump the gun almost at the beginning because you're excited to be there. You want to play. And I think that's what we saw a bit from Robbie. I'm going to show people what I got because I can't hide it about myself. It just, that's a problem with some people. They just can't keep it inside. They have to let some way of their nature, their being out. And she did with the first challenge and dominated.
Yeah. Some stars shine so brightly they can't hide.
Right.
And Robbie is a bright, shining star. Having said that, and having talked about space, Robbie reveals her handles, and I was so happy that they reveal both handles. They reveal all previous handles. I was like, yes, thank God. And yeah, no, they reveal that she was Rocket, and then they drop the bomb. Robbie was the infamous, nefarious Dice.
And that solves a lot for so many people because originally when they're thinking, we're getting rid of Tyrina, Dice is out of here. Oh, Dice is still in the game. And see, that's the thing. We said this last time. Robbie lucked out some by the handle change because after Tyrina, I think Robbie was going to be the one linked to Dice from there on out. And so that helped her. But then it just didn't work out with the handle change anyway. But I'm glad we as viewers and they as players got to see both because I think it is important because people can put puzzle pieces together potentially and solve it a little bit. Not easier, but at least say, okay, maybe this person is this, but they're talking differently as this handle. Let's kind of figure that out.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that we get to see the reactions to the reveal, which doesn't happen on some other shows. But being able to see that and see like either the kudos that's given, people like showering with flowers, people giving the hugs, the shock, the awe, etc. That for me makes good television.
Right on. Yep.
Yeah. And Dice was ruthless. And seeing Dice out of the game, I think relieves a lot of the players. But it also says like, who's the next big fish?
Yes, exactly. Because now people have to figure out which handles linked to what.
Yeah. Yeah. So that night, Chris and Xavier are chatting, and he's basically sending a cautionary tale to Chris regarding Victoria. Chris doesn't seem to understand that couples are a threat. And I think that ties into his lack of previous knowledge of games. It's unfortunate, but he's not concerned.
No.
And Xavier is trying to explain that.
Right. And Chris isn't concerned. We had Chris on the podcast, was able to talk to us a little bit. So definitely check that out. He's a ball of energy. He explained, though, there that he has not seen reality TV before this. And I think that's where Xavier comes in with the experience and Christopher does not. And I will say with Xavier, he's so good with the tone, with the approach, and how he talks to other people. And you see it right there in that conversation.
Oh, yeah. And you can see why he won Big Brother. And you can tell that he is I'm sure, very well accomplished lawyer.
Yes.
He knows how to position himself when he talks to people, unlike some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So he also expresses his concern in confessional, and this is the second time that he's mentioned this, that he's concerned that Chris will keep Victoria over other people in his alliance. Now, is that foreshadowing?
It could potentially be that. I mean, we just saw obviously that she kept Christopher over Robbie, which made sense for her game. I absolutely think so. But then with Xavier, sometimes when you see that twosome like that and you're all part of a group, even though Xavier was with Christopher first, sometimes people come and swoop in and they take your spot. And I think just the alert warning signs are on in his head saying, I don't want to get screwed over, because say it comes down to it's Xavier versus Christopher. She wins the anonymous. He's probably right. He's out the door most likely.
Yeah, he wants to be the number one. He doesn't want to be the number two there. And I mean, like, in this game, I don't blame him, because it only takes one stray vote to get rid of you.
Right.
There's so much at stake every vote if you are at risk.
Yeah, anyway. You just have to play your cards very, very carefully and just try and trust the people that you think you're with. But again, we've seen it so many times. You think you trust somebody and they're absolutely not with you.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing it with the Jack and Andy thing. We're seeing it play out all over the house. But after this, we do hear from someone that we haven't heard much from yet. And it seemed like this was a really big Wayne episode all of a sudden. This is the second time that the second episode that Wayne was in. But we get a lot of Wayne this episode. Do you have any thoughts about him?
Wayne's fine. I just think that
he's fine.
This is what I will say about Wayne. Wayne would have benefited coming in the game at the beginning. I absolutely think. I think if you swap Wayne for somebody else and have them come in as the 3, it works out better. Wayne is the type of person that had to be there from the get-go to get his strategy working, to get the conversations rolling. It just was too little too late, I think, especially with his conversation with Xavier that we see. Xavier thinks it's a little pushed, and Wayne, I don't think, understands that his approach is not what Xavier's looking for.
Yeah, I think Wayne is definitely overestimating and underestimating his competition. He's overestimating his own abilities based on his own life experience, which is applicable and works for this game. But as an undercover detective online, that's great in the anonymous room, etc. But we're already seeing people are pegging him as light bulb. But that doesn't translate to the out of the room relationships that he has to build in order to, survive longer.
If this game was just all the anonymous mode, I think Wayne hits a home run with it, probably, because he has that little bit of a slow burn, was waiting see what people are doing, analyzing the conversations, and then started to jump in and be more active in there. But it's hard to translate in person and behind the scenes. You have to be good at doing both. And we see some people are excelling in it and others are struggling with one or the other. I don't think anyone's struggling with both. I think some people are just struggling with one or the other, and other people are doing really well doing both.
Yeah, no, it's such a multifaceted game when you come in with the real life stuff and the anonymous room stuff. And I think the person that's going to win this game is going to be the person who is able to master both sides of the coin.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
so Wayne is chatting with Xavier, and he's like, "I'm fanboying out. I'm a big Brother fan." Wayne is pitching so hard to Xavier, and rightfully so. Xavier is a little skeptical to Wayne's intentions. Wayne recognizes the game that Xavier has, and Xavier's like, "You know what? This is a little bit too much for me. I'm thinking I'm going to target Wayne."
I honestly, just based on the footage we saw, and obviously there's probably longer conversation, we just don't see it, I would have taken pause too. And it's simply approach. Some people are so brilliant with how they go up to people and have a conversation. You make them feel super good, but you're not so pushy about it where it's over the top, where then it becomes, this is too much. I'm going to probably go the opposite direction.
Yeah, no, because Xavier's a smart and savvy player. He doesn't want someone who is ogling over him too much, because then not only if you do choose to accept that, and even if it is genuine, which in Wayne's case is not necessarily genuine, he's doing it as a strategic move. But even if it is genuine, it's so overt and so strong that it's going to pay to target. And Xavier is smart enough to dodge those bullets, to allow someone else to step on a landmine that he knows is there. But yeah, continuing on, we get to the next scene where Chris and Victoria are snuggling. Oh, we have a little showmance on our hands.
Here's the thing, though. When you're a producer and when you're having a show and it revolves around people interacting with each other, and you can get the showmance, you see it on Big Brother all the time. They at least want one showmance on the show, just because that's what they're looking for. And they cast the correct people for that showmance to happen. And the thing is, it's quick too. Think about it. You don't know each other that well quite yet, because you've only
been 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. It's only been 2 days.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm just like, I'm passionate about.
Right there with you. Right there where I was just gonna say, limited time. You don't really know each other that well, but again, we've seen it before. Reality television does it. You get couples, and it works out.
Yeah, no, smooching equals ratings. That's knocking boots. That's where they're at. But well, maybe not knocking boots. They're at least smooching. We saw the smooch. There was 100% chance of smooch, and it occurred. But Chris is talking to Victoria in their little cuddle session. That Xavier is cautioning them about the couple situation. So he's telling Victoria all of the private conversations that he's had with Xavier. So he's already theoretically betraying Xavier's trust to Victoria.
Yeah, see, this is the problem. And I think that's what Xavier recognizes. He's taking information right there, having the conversation with her about. Now, if he has that conversation with Xavier, says nothing to Victoria, I think that's a good sign, because then he's recognizing, all right, this is a relationship, enjoying the friendship, whatever it may be, whatever goes beyond that. But I'm all in with Xavier because that's better for my gameplay potentially. However, it's still not bad for Christopher either, because Christopher has her, and still Xavier does trust Christopher to an extent.
Yeah, no, that's astute. Very good point. Yeah, but so the dynamics of the situation, you're kind of questioning, because Victoria has been acting a certain way towards Chris outside, like in confessional and whatnot, up to this point. Like, she didn't pick him first in the puzzle challenge, which upset Chris. And you're not 100% sure of Victoria's intentions towards Chris at this point in time. This is where Victoria comes in confessional, and she states that she does have some genuine attraction for Christopher. And, bless you. Awesome job, Christopher. Awesome job, Victoria. I love seeing it play out on screen. I hope it works out for both of you. We're going to have to watch and see.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it play out. But that's the thing that's so fun about these shows is because you're watching and as us viewers and then saying, is this going to pan out throughout the rest of the episodes? Because think about it. You're having this bonding connection right there. And then going into the anonymous mode, thinking that person I had this close bond with, is that still going to translate into that? And it's not, because you have no idea necessarily who is playing what role.
Yeah, no, it's a mind bad word to everybody in the house. It's a total mind fuck because you never know who's being genuine and you never know who you can trust implicitly. And it's interesting to see that the intentions of Victoria are, for lack of a better word, noble in this endeavor.
She's there for him, but she's also there to play the game. She knows what it's about. She's there for $100,000, and that's fine. I love seeing people there that are there for the money and are there to win. And I think everyone should go into that with that mentality. You can be friends or whatever you want to be after the show, but it's all about the gameplay there. And if people can't understand that or separate that, that's on them, not on you.
Yeah, there's only one winner at the end of the day. They didn't make the prize pot $200,000. It's still $100,000 to one person. Yeah. So next morning, we get Dylan in the most fabulous outfit.
Yes.
I don't know what material that is. But whatever it is, he's got some flashy sassy going on there, and I am here for it.
Dylan's always rocking it. We know that. We've seen him. We've talked to Dylan. Dylan's fantastic, and I'm so happy to still continue to see Dylan on my screen.
Oh, absolutely. He is the cowboy celebrity, as it said on the sash that he was wearing in that outfit. He was like dressed like a cowboy, fabulous mayor from. Definitely like he was like from Texas, but he was like this like flashy, sassy Texan. It's such a cool motif that he has.
Dylan just owns it too. Dylan is always going to be Dylan, unapologetically himself, which is what you want.
Yeah, especially on a reality television show like this. Like, he looks so good that even Christopher complimented him.
And that's a big thing right there. If you're getting a Christopher compliment after you went off on Christopher, that's just snaps.
That means you were doing something right.
Yes.
You were doing something right. And like, yes, that may be gameplay from like, I think that's Dylan. I think Dylan is Dylan and Dylan is always going to be him. But I think that flashy sassy that he has going on is helping him out in the game because it's showing that he is comfortable in his skin and he is a genuine person. Right. And people read that.
Yeah, they do. That's the thing. You have to recognize what people are there for, what people are doing, how they're talking to other people, how they're interacting. It's just, you have to read the room. That's the biggest thing I can say. Read the room with what's going on. If you can do that, you will probably be successful.
Yeah. And it seems like there's a couple people in this house that can do that extremely well. And kudos to them. The next scene that we get is we get a cute little scene, and I just wanted to bring this up because I just thought it was really funny and because I adore Andy. So Andy works out with Danny, and Danny trolls him by making him do the hokey pokey. And Andy, bless his heart, I don't think he realized it until it was a little bit too far to say that he wasn't doing the hokey pokey.
This is why having Danny is so perfect, because you see certain players interact a ton with Danny, and that's what makes it fun. You want the show to be fun. You want the viewers to have a good time watching it, and I love Danny.
Yeah, no, it's almost like they're playing pranks. Like they have like a sarcastic, witty, trolly kind of personality,
right?
And it really plays well. It like sets a good motif or a good vibe for the show. I think so. Like, it's not too serious.
Yeah, you don't want anything too serious because at the end of the day, I'm sure people of all ages are watching this because they can. It's not a bad show by any means for the younger age. The older crowd, it works for them too because it's a strategy game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think it teaches a lot about interpersonal relations,
Mhm.
and it also teaches, I guess you could even say, internet safety, because it's like not everyone is who they are online.
Right on. Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah, I think that's something I didn't even put that together until now, but like that's actually a really good thing to like help teach your kids. Just like, listen, these people are not like, look at what football did over the first couple days.
Mhm.
Just because Jack is friends with him in life doesn't mean that he can't go online and pretend to be somebody else entirely. So always be careful when you're kids. Always be careful with who you're dealing with and talking with online. That's the PSA for the day.
Spot on. I think you said it best.
So back to our regularly scheduled programming, which is the Anonymous. So after that, we get Xavier and Jack talking. I did notice this at this point because I made a note about it, and I just said, "Man, this is the Xavier show." Every interaction, like I would say, like 30 to 40% of them involving Xavier in some way, shape, or form.
We
Like,
see, yeah, we see a lot of highlights of particular people depending on what the episode is.
mhm,
Sometimes it's their episode, but in this one too, this was Xavier's episode, a little bit of Dylan's episode, Wayne's episode. So you had a couple people, but you're right. Xavier was shown in a lot of this one.
mhm. I think that they're either building him up to be like a contender to be the show, or they're building him up for a big downfall.
Yep.
Yeah. So one way or another, I think it's going to be a super shock, or he's going to win it.
Hmm.
Jack says he wonders if Victoria is one of the handles putting Christopher at risk. Astute. I think that he's putting the pieces together. Jack is proving to be still a very savvy player. Uh, it's the one thing that I did worry about here was that he's basically outing his own strategy with football and Andy, though.
Yeah, see, but that's the issue you're going to run into
Mhm.
because you had the handle switch, so you're going
Yeah.
back into talking as if you were talking representing that handle, and then you not realizing that you're talking about the new handle is what you should be doing. And I
Mhm.
think we'll continue to see a lot of that, especially if we do get a third handle switch. I think that's going to be very, very complicated if that does happen down the road.
Yeah, I could see that happening, like maybe at like after another 3 or 4 eliminations.
Mhm.
Although I'm gonna throw my TV against the wall if they add 3 more people into the game after another 3 eliminations.
I think this is it. I think that was just the big twist of the season. We're bringing in 3 new people because it's unexpected. I'm hoping the same thing. I don't need 3 new people because then I have to talk about 3 new people, and that's just a lot.
It's a little overwhelming. We're gonna have to try to keep track of how many people. But so then we get a conversation, and this one seems like it's got some legs. Like going forward, it does directly impact the rest of this episode, but I think
Mhm.
that we're gonna get more of this going forward. We get Lily, Nina, and Victoria talking, and they're starting to put together. Anybody here notice that like only the women are going home? And now we're starting to get like Bhishma comes in and she joins in to this as well.
Mhm.
Now we kind of have a women's alliance forming here.
I almost think you have to in that scenario because
Mhm.
then you're thinking in your mind potentially, have all the guys won the anonymous and they have something on the side that we don't know about or just deciding to pick off any of the ladies that are up there. I
Mhm.
think that could run through people's minds for sure. And so that's the point where, all right, it's been 4 in a row. We need to band together and make sure it's not one of us going on the next one.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm all for it. I think that there should be some like equity when it comes to the eliminations. Like I was looking at it too because you had, um, you know, 3 women are eliminated already, and then you get 3 new people into the house. Like the gender, uh, or how do I say this? The same amount of people of gender in the game,
Mhm.
and it's definitely way more leaning onto the male side right now. It's too much. It's too much, and
Right.
that's going to paint a target going forward. But the women need to start having these conversations, just based purely on self-preservation.
You have to, because
Yeah.
you have to figure out every single scenario. You have to think not only what's running through your mind, but what's running through everyone else's mind that you're playing against.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like they don't know who the anonymous was. You know, they don't know that it was Victoria that got rid of, you know, a female player. But yeah, no, I mean, like we don't suspect that Jack had that in mind or anything like that. Like
Right.
it just happened to be the way that the cards fell. But it's still a bad look either way, and they still have to consider that going forward. Like when you get into a game or any real life situation where something is truly at risk, all those things need to be taken into account. Like and whether it's sex, race, religion, etc. That stuff is like it's not fair to play with those things in mind. I think that that's beyond the game, but I do think it's something that has to be taken into consideration at any point.
Right. And I think what the thing is, I don't think anyone really thought too much about it. But when you saw the fourth one, I think that was nailing it right there, where they started having the conversation. Okay, we need to do something about this. And not saying it's going to be a long-term alliance by any means. We just don't want another lady to go next.
Yes, and I think that that's fair. I think that is 100% fair. So next we get into anonymous mode, and we start the chat off. Cactus Victoria, she gets us into this, and she just straight up calls out Lily.
Yep.
So I guess Victoria is not in on the women power plan at this point.
Well, we also see somebody else is not in on the plan either. Lily is not in the plan. So you talk about this big thing, and then you all throw each other under the bus. Which, in their defense, they're trying to play as somebody else. So maybe trying to like make it seem as though their person is a guy. And I get the thought process behind it. But damn,
it is not serving your purpose.
Lasted 2 seconds.
And that is what is so complicated about this game, because you can have these conversations in real life, but then you get into the anonymous room and you have to take almost an opposing stance to what your intentions are in the game in order to keep people off of your scent in the anonymous room. Lily gets a little rattled from that. Like you see it a little bit. She's like, why are people bringing up my name, kind of thing, you know? Popsicle Dylan, Wayne, you will be up for elimination today, period. Just laying it down there.
But see, this is the thing. By Dylan doing the period, that would make me think, there's some emphasis on this. Wait, is Popsicle potentially Dylan? You have to be really careful. You know, exclamation point, period. That can be telling to somebody if that is the way that they are thinking.
Absolutely, because it creates a certain cadence in the sentence that some people would probably not say. Like I don't see Wayne coming out and saying period.
Right.
Like it's almost a little gaudy. You know, like it's got a little flash.
I love it.
Yes. So Lightning Andy, Chris and Andy are the next two to go. So Andy's trying to play incognito. Very plain. I like that sentence from Andy, just because it's very plain. It's very innocuous. Like there's nothing that you can decipher from that. It's just a very plain sentence. Chris, wow. Flamingo Jack comes in. Chris and Andy works for me. Fire Nina. Yo, lighting this game up. Xavier running the show.
There it is.
So Nina is throwing Xavier out there. Then Xavier comes in with his scissors. Might be time for him to get the snips. So Xavier is trying to do the dad joke thing because he knows that people may have Andy pegged on that. So he's trying to blend in, to camouflage himself. I think it's a solid play.
It's smart, and I believe that Xavier had already pinpointed Andy as lightning earlier in the previous episode. So Xavier has a pretty good read on who potentially people could be as well, I think. The problem is, how long do you wait until you throw yourself under the bus? Because once your name starts popping up, how many messages do you wait? Because you can't send it immediately, because then it's too obvious, but you can't wait too long because then you lost your timestamp.
Yep. It's a game of cat and mouse in there. And knowing when to talk is almost more important than knowing what to say, I think. Because when you react emotionally to something, that reads more, I think, in the speed of your response.
Exactly.
So then Lightbulb Wayne comes in. I can tell you the name I'm going to be writing down is Dylan. And Dylan just says, "Oh, that's Wayne."
Yes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Where did this Wayne Dylan thing come from? Anywhere?
I don't think we got a lot of context on it,
No.
honestly. But see, with Dylan, we know if you rub Dylan a little bit the wrong way, it's not great.
Yeah,
Nope.
no.
And the thing is, we haven't seen Dylan go at Wayne per se, but Dylan at least had the awareness that Wayne could potentially be coming after him. So when Wayne does say that as Lightbulb, Dylan has it clocked.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how, like, there's definitely got to be stuff that we're not getting on that front. Like, Wayne is probably not being, but and how did he know that was Wayne and not like Chris or you know, like it's interesting that he went right for Wayne. So there's got to be something under the sand, so to speak, that is triggering that we're not getting. Lipstick Christopher, Lily and Wayne gotta go. And then Eagle Bishma comes in. Which women are we eliminating today? And yeah, no, that's a little strong.
It was.
Yeah. Robot Lily hits in Nina or Bishma. If we're targeting women, I'm out. Lipstick Christopher says that. Dylan agrees. Which is, I just thought was hilarious because they have been feuding last episode and they are inadvertently on the same side.
Yes.
Here.
It's so good. It's great. It makes it fun.
It's the exact opposite of the dynamics that we've seen, where people who are allies that are at odds in the anonymous mode. Now we're seeing people who are at odds outside the game being allied in anonymous mode, which was so cool.
I love it. That's why I like the game plan, the context of it. I think it's great because, as you said, your best friend could be coming for you and you could hate that person on the outside but love them on the inside.
So Bishma and Victoria think Lipstick is a man. That's very astute. That is the correct. You won a prize. You're figuring it out. Chris doesn't seem to be as good in the anonymous mode as some of the other players. I'm gonna say it. Unfortunately, he's a great guy, but you're just not good at being incognito. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll get better in the coming weeks. So Flamingo Jack comes in, except you were targeting women. So fake. So
hard.
Yeah, laying it on thick, putting maple syrup on the pancakes, and everybody is just clocking Lipstick for they're just calling Lipstick out for the history. Then why did you vote Lena last time? Caught. And that is exactly what Eagle Bishma should have said, and then we come out of anonymous mode. We get into the vote. And everybody takes their time. They vote, and we end up with 6 players at risk. We end up with 3 from Wayne, 3 for Dylan, 2 for Xavier, 1 for Marcel. That was Eagle Bishma voted for Marcel. And then we have 1 for Christopher and 1 for Nina. Any thoughts about this. I mean, it seems like we got 5 men and 1 female on the block here.
I still think Lily's play was great here because it does hide her, but you better cross your fingers that Nina isn't the one that ends up going home because of it. Because she does say she doesn't want Nina to go home. However, it's not a bad play in my opinion. I think it's still a good play for her in particular. Had a guy did it, I would feel differently about it. But I think her play was spot on.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. No, she wants to be the anonymous.
Right.
And in order to do that, you need to do stuff that's atypical of your own personality. I think Lily is learning the game at lightning speed. And I'm excited to see how she takes it over the next couple, episodes. So the game has already started to flip. So we're seeing, more of the threats being targeted. We're seeing players like Xavier, like Nina on the block. We're seeing some people have their first time at immunity as well. Like Andy is not on the block. Woo!
Oh boy, Andy's loving it. Andy's so excited about that because the problem is, think about it, this is a nightly game pretty much. There's elimination every single night, and the fact that you're on the block for that many evenings in a row, you don't even get to take a breath of relaxation. You are always tense, shoulders up. Now you can take the shoulders down and relax.
Breathe. That's got to be nerve-wracking to be on the block every night for 4 nights.
Absolutely.
So we come out of that. I like how Dylan comes out, women empowerment, but leave the gays alone too. I laughed so hard at that. I think he always has a soundbite, and I appreciate it. So we have an aftermath to this. Dylan, Nina, and Victoria are chatting, and they call Robot out for being a misogynist. Obviously Lily is not a misogynist, but that means that she's doing a phenomenal job.
Yup. And that was what she wanted to. That's what she intended to do, and she delivered.
For sure. Kudos, flowers, great gameplay. Jack, Andy, and Wayne are talking. We get they're just trying to account for all the votes. Andy thinks that Flamingo is Lily, which obviously is not true because his number one ally, Jack, is Flamingo. Andy, I love you, but you just can't figure it out. I'm sorry.
Nice guy.
Yeah, great guy. Wonderful. Would love to have him over. We can have punch and pie. It'll be great. But you're just not. Jack is just running circles around you. It's so sad. But it's impressive. So Nina, Xavier, and Christopher are talking. Nina is extremely happy that they called out Lipstick. I think everybody was happy that they called out Lipstick. So kudos to everybody. Lily, Jack, and Andy are talking. Who would put a vote on Nina? Nina is Switzerland. Who wants to get rid of Switzerland? Right? So Nina seems like she's in a really tight spot right now. She's doing great.
Yeah, Nina's doing fantastic. Just the thing is, she doesn't know that a couple people potentially know who she could be, and that's what the problem is. And that can maybe catch up to you. We'll see if it plays out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Like it's definitely been teased. And I would love to see it actually come out, but I think it's great that they're holding it to their chest right now and waiting for the right moment to use that information to turn people against Nina.
Absolutely. And you have to hold your cards close to your chest until it's ready to let the chips fall, whatever you want to do, 52 pick up, whatever.
Yeah, just pick them all up. They're just all over the place. But yeah, so next we move over to the challenge. So all the players who are at risk have an opportunity to save themselves. I thought it was going to be a different challenge. I was surprised that they didn't do that, although I'm not upset with the challenge that they chose. to repeat, which is the at-risk boxes challenge. I think that it's a easy to understand, pure social strategic game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this game, like I really hope they don't do it every week.
That's the thing. I don't mind seeing it again because we got a more interesting outcome this time, in my personal opinion. However, I don't need to see it again. I want to see something different that is going to shake up the house a little bit more. Stuff is fine to repeat. If it had been the same repeat of just someone getting it, holding on to it, I wouldn't have been as fond of it. However, we didn't get that.
No, we did not get that. Which was, I mean, it was interesting to see how it played out again. I'd be interested to see some variations on this. Either they all pick their boxes at the same time, and then they can all have an open discussion about it, or one of the players gets to know which color box is the right box. And then they have to play like there's other variations to this that they can do that can throw new wrenches into the mix and add more layers to the strategy. But we'll have to see how it plays out. But recapping how the challenge went down, first we have Marcel. He goes first again. And then Xavier goes, he gets a new box, and we get a little tit for tat every time somebody picks a box.
Right.
But after Xavier goes, we get a very highlighted part here where Wayne is just ready to play. He wants to ruffle the skirt, so to speak. He wants to rattle some cages. So he grills Xavier a little bit. He asks a ton of questions, and Wayne is really overplaying a hand right now.
And that's what I was talking about with Wayne in general. Wayne comes in at the beginning. We don't probably see this from Wayne. Wayne just wanted to play. And that's what we talked about too. I would feel really shitty if I was not on the original and I had to come in late. And that's where I think you see, I want to at least make it known I was trying to play this game. And that's what Wayne, I believe, runs into.
Yeah, no, Wayne comes in and he starts just calling out alliances, and he's like, you have an alliance with Marcel, and you're used to him telling the truth, aren't you? That was a huge swing. It gets a bunch of reactions from the players on the bench. Xavier handles it like cool as a cucumber, though. He comes in, he's like, yeah, I have an alliance with Marcel. I have an alliance with Nina. I have an alliance with Christopher. I have an alliance with Andy. He names pretty much everybody in the house, including Wayne.
Yeah.
Which, I think that was a great deflection on his part. That's him being able to think on his feet. He went toe-to-toe. Wayne went toe-to-toe to Xavier, and Xavier won. Yeah, that's how that rolled. Christopher goes. He takes a new box. Xavier says he saw a sliver of hope when Chris looked into his box, like when he saw Victoria. Then Wayne comes in again. He starts grilling Christopher. 3 people from your alliance told me they were going to take you out.
Yeah, it's just a lot. But the thing is, I would rather see that than not playing at all. So that's what I can say about it.
Yeah, he's trying to throw some chaos into the mix, because I think he knows that his goose is cooked right now.
Right.
So he's just trying to throw some spicy peppers into the stew. That's kind of how I read it, at least. Wayne goes, he picks a new box. So after all of that, he still picked a new box. Kind of going against his instincts, because his instincts initially was, probably should have taken Marcel's box. Right. That's kind of what he was thinking. Then Nina goes, and Wayne tells her, like, you should take Marcel's box. Which that's a feather in Wayne's cap there, because spoilers, it turns out that Marcel had the correct, he had the correct box again, which is really against all odds at this point, that he was the first person to pick, and he picked the right box twice.
It's slim to none. And that's what we're saying, luck is luck, and that's sometimes what you get.
Yeah, no, super lucky on his part. And it seems like he played it okay, but Wayne has some tricks under his sleeve. Like he does have game. It's just that his I don't even want to say outburst, but his gameplay throughout this challenge, even though he had all the information that he needed in order to make the right decisions, he still fumbled the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had everything. Yeah. Like if he took Marcel's box, like he would have looked at the box, etc. And then like is somebody going to take Wayne's box? I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Nina goes, she doesn't listen to Wayne, and she chooses a new box. And Nina actually talked or tells that Marcel held the box last time with two hands, and it was a box he wanted to keep, which I thought was very observant on her part. Unfortunately, it was incorrect. So Wayne had better insight into that situation than Nina did. It was interesting to see it play out.
The other thing too is Wayne wasn't there the first time it happened either. Mm-hmm. So that also is an impact too, which is why I don't know how I feel about it being the same game, because you somewhat get an advantage if you watch someone go before in that particular game and you were sitting on the sidelines watching. I think it's,
Yeah, no, I think you have a context as to what the current meta for that challenge is, or game, or whatever you want to call it. So Dylan goes, he says that he likes the color purple because I believe it said it reminded him as of his mother. That was like her favorite color. It was super cute. I thought it was a great either deflection, or actually we talked to Dylan about this. He said that it was just straight because he loved the color. He didn't have like a huge strategy on that, which I mean that's what makes Dylan, and that's what makes us love him.
And that's the thing. You don't necessarily have to have a major strategy when it is a luck-based challenge. You go with your gut. Dylan did not steer away from his gut, which I think we saw other people do it. And I believe that's why Dylan was successful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. # save a hoe. He needs to be saved. So they start to reveal their boxes one by one, and it comes down to Dylan and Marcel. And Dylan is safe.
Dylan's safe, pulls it out, and Dylan, you could tell the relief just because it's tough to be up for elimination and just knowing I have that safety now, but then, oh wait, someone needs to take my place. Then that sigh of relief goes away because it's, oh shit, I actually am not doing this behind a handle now. I'm doing this amongst the entire crowd and have to select somebody.
Yeah, it throws a whole nother dynamic into the mix there. It's like you have to show part of your hand. Yes. And it's like I have to actually target somebody in real life. And I think that well, obviously was surprising to Dylan, but it really actually has an emotional impact on you because you're not doing it anonymously. And I think Dylan felt that.
Right. I agree.
I mean, Dylan wears the emotions on his sleeve. I mean, we've seen that play out multiple times over the show. But Dylan, I mean, there's not many guys left, and he's all about girl power in this situation. He's very supportive of the women's movement that's going on in the house right now. So he can't put a woman on the block. So he has a choice between, I believe it's either Jack or Andy.
Yeah,
and since Dylan has a heart, Dylan has a heart. He can't put Andy on again. Everybody in this house, at least everybody that we've seen, seems to love Andy.
Right.
And I think you and I love Andy too.
I think you just have to.
Yes, yeah, no. We had a conversation with Andy, and he is exactly as is. He is one of the most genuinely kind people I have ever talked to. But yeah, that'll be out later this week, that interview. But and I couldn't willingly hurt him.
Right, exactly, and I think it was the perfect call. But the problem is, like we've seen, it takes one vote for an elimination. And that's what makes the game so complicated.
Yeah, no. So when Dylan ended up choosing Jack, I actually got worried for Jack because, like, I mean, I don't know how many people have him pegged as a big gamer yet, but if they did and they knew what was good for them, they would definitely think twice,
Mhm.
if they're the Anonymous, to get out a big player like Jack.
Right.
I mean, they should be thinking about getting out a big player like Xavier at this point too. He's on the block. It'd be a huge move right now to get Nina out too, but you'd be risking the misogynistic angle.
Mhm.
So like at this point, like you're probably getting rid of either Xavier, Jack, or Marcel. Like
You would think. You would
if
think.
they
It
knew
just
but they don't
yeah,
have all the information.
correct.
So Jack actually uses this as an opportunity, and I think this was a savvy play on his part to play up his emotions to show that he's more human and he's not a robot.
Mhm.
And I think that was solid. Like you want people to feel sorry for you in this moment a little bit. They want to have, or you want people to have an emotional tie to you, so it's more difficult to write your name down.
Absolutely. It's a people game. If you pull at someone's heartstrings, they're more inclined to probably want to keep you. Even
Mhm.
if they have that thought in their mind, I should get rid of this person, but I like them so much that you don't want to.
Yeah, no, you want them to have to think twice about it.
Right.
And there are some people you can tell in this game that definitely are playing with their emotions. So to be able to pull on people's heartstrings like Andy, like Dylan, that's only going to help you. So we get to the test. Just a couple insights that we have here is that everybody thinks that Marcel is Snake. Well, actually, just Christopher and Lily, but everybody. It seems that Marcel is not doing a very good job of staying incognito. And Jack thinks that Christopher is Lipstick. Jack seems to have his finger on the pulse pretty much at every corner. I think he's doing great. But we get the results of the test and the results of the Anonymous, and it's down to either Jack or Lily.
Yeah. And this is the thing with Lily. Lily gets this spot on for her. You see the evolution of Lily, which I do love. Jack gets it, showcases how dominant Jack's been. So you get both storylines there, the dominance and the one that has risen up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and in either way, I think that it's compelling. So just to recap here, at risk, we have Wayne, Jack, Xavier, Marcel, Christopher, and Nina. We eliminate from contention everyone but Wayne and Christopher. So on the next episode, on the Anonymous, where we are going to find out as to whether or not it was Jack or Lily that becomes the Anonymous, and who that anonymous evil person chooses to eliminate from the game.
I'm ready.
Will it be Wayne or will it be Christopher?
Prediction
on your part?
Yeah, especially because I have not seen episode 6 yet.
Yeah, no, we haven't watched it.
I think they gave it a Wayne heavy episode, and normally when you see a very highly targeted person with the footage, I'm going to lean Wayne, but wouldn't be surprised if it's Christopher. It depends who gets it. I think if Lily gets it, Christopher goes. I think if Jack gets it, Wayne goes. So I'm going based on who I think would eliminate who, depending on who wins.
So if you're thinking that it's a Wayne heavy episode, you're projecting that Jack wins the Anonymous and he takes out Wayne.
That's what I could see happening, yes, just because of how much contact, like how much footage we got from Wayne. That's what I'm leaning. I'm leaning that viewer as, all right, they're setting this person up, giving them a ton of storyline just to eliminate them, so they got screen time.
So I agree with you that I think that it's Wayne that's going out the door, which is unfortunate. He basically just did a boomerang. He came in, he was immune for one round, and I think he's going out the door in his first time that he's able to be eliminated. But I think Lily is going to be the one that's going to get rid of him.
Okay.
And yes, I think Lily is going to win the Anonymous this coming episode. I think that she's played a little bit more savvy than Jack in the anonymous room so far, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, her motivations for getting rid of Wayne at this juncture, I just think that the way that Wayne has been playing, I think is turning a lot of people off. And I think Lily's included in that. I think that everybody in the house views him as a volatile player.
I'm excited to see what happens. So, yeah, with that, I think that wraps up the episode and everything. Another good one. I'm excited for 6. We'll be back same time. We'll try to be back same time every week, shooting for 8:30 Eastern time on Tuesdays to give you all the context, the footage, the live, everything that you could want at the reality after show. Be on the lookout. I have been dropping the live streams, the links for the cast members that we've had the chance to interview. It's been great so far. Normally they've been dropping at 7:30 Eastern time on the daily at this point right now. We still have upcoming. Andy should be dropping tomorrow. Jack and Nina should be dropping on Thursday. We have some more coming up in the queue, so be on the lookout for those. They're very, very good, and they give a lot of information.
Yeah, I think we uploaded Dylan yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. That was an amazing interview.
Victoria was uploaded today. So, yeah, we're just going to keep them coming to you. And also be on the lookout for everything that is going on at the reality after show. So much is happening. You have Big Brother, you have the challenge, Survivor starting, wrestling's going on this podcast. We have everything.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for to discuss a little further on social media, you can find me on Instagram at arob AROB.iv. Reach out. We'll talk. We'll have a dialogue, and rock and roll.
And with that, everyone, take it easy.
Cheerio.
Cheers.